We talked for a while about creating that dream reality. We talked for a while about what you specifically want your lifestyle to look like with what it is you do and the freedom that you can enjoy with doing what you do, right? And you like to help other people experience that freedom as well. And let me say, it's very clear to me when I talk with you, Nick, that you love what you do. You love mindfulness. You love helping people become more present. You love helping people in general. And you've dove into this topic. Like, you're constantly researching and reading and learning more. And my question for you is, how did you come across this as the obsession that it has now become? How did this happen for you in your life?
Yeah, it started with self-development, which I look back at it now, it amazes me that that was such a unknown and unseen concept. And so I started reading self-development books, and I became a little bit of a self-development junkie. I thought it was amazing how you could invest into yourself and improve yourself. And at the time I was in finance, and I knew the person I was starting was not going to be the person that was going to be successful. It just wasn't going to happen that way. So I knew I had to improve. And then through self-improvement and networking and being focused on building a successful network. So what does that mean? I wanted to be surrounded by other people that were where I wanted to be. High net worth, business owners, because those are different conversations. So I wanted to learn from what that conversation sounds like. You can learn so much from just being in conversations with people. And I've learned that most people really are there to support you to the best of their ability. And one of those conversations led to a recommendation to read A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. And I was surprised on the interest that this person showed me, because at the time I was delivering packages. I didn't think much of my society status. And here's this successful business owner who's taking the time to talk to me, you know, at the same level. He never looked down on me. And when I read that book, life made sense to me for the first time ever. So much of things I would disagree with, or people would give me answers, not that they were lying. It just felt like it wasn't a complete understanding. And this book started to answer questions and give light on deeper wonders that I had for a really long time. I mean, I've been asking deep questions since I was 5-6 years old, as I can remember. And then I started practicing it. And it was an experience I had practicing one of the modalities that Eckhart Tolle teaches, where I was in a situation that I was frustrated. You know, I was a little, you know, in an intensity of anger. And I knew that was a perfect opportunity to give this work a test. You know, what better way than to authentically feel a negative emotion and say, okay, well, if this is supposed to take me out of it, let's see how it works. And it was the first time I learned and experienced what choosing acceptance was. And I went from frustration to a smile, and I laughed for about the next 30 minutes. I couldn't even believe what was happening. I thought, this is wild that this just happened. And I couldn't even make myself mad again. I couldn't even get frustrated at the situation again. And that's when I learned how much power we have within ourselves. And, you know, now that it's funny, I haven't thought about this in a long time, because it was actually the sentence that empowered me. And of course, I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember it that well. Eckhart Tolle he was talking about the ego and the pain body and what we cause in ourselves. And something he said that made me understand that we do it to ourselves. And that woke me up a little bit. And I thought, oh, well, I know I can't control other people. However, if you're telling me that I'm doing all this to myself, well, yeah, I'll look at me. I'll work on me. That's an easier task. It's much harder to try to control other people. So is when I got one of the chapters, he said something like that pretty directly, at least how I understood it. When he said that it's us that's doing it to us, that empowered me. And I thought, okay, well, let's do it. I'm willing to practice whatever you tell me to do. And that's what I did. And I became obsessed. And then it was book after book after book. I couldn't get enough. And then I started learning how much we actually do understand about the mind. However, not a lot of people put them all together. There's all these different silos of, you know, whether it's spirituality, whether, you know, even pieces in religion, whether it's ontology, whether it's the chakras, whether it's neuroscience, whether it's neuroplasticity. You have all these different little areas of understanding. And what I started realizing is when you start putting these together, there's a lot of overlapping being told in different perspectives. And so I just, instead of looking for the right answer, I started researching what everybody else was saying and using it together. And that's essentially how I got into the work here. And like you said, I'm still always constantly researching. There's always a book I'm reading. I have literally 15 books on my living room floor right now. Like I will not run out of material. And I do that also so I can be one of the best coaches that a client will ever sit down with. And when I come across a new issue with a client, I immediately go to that subject and I start researching what that particular area looks like. And then I come back and then we start making progress.